which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. So just to make everyone aware that this meeting's being filmed on BCAT. It was in the open meeting law. So they recommended you say that at the beginning of each meeting. So we have the approval of the minutes of October 28th, 2019. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve them as written?
So moved.
By
Second.
Tom, second by Dave. Any discussion?
Nope.
Kevin?
No.
Okay, I was just testing you. Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose, abstain, so 4-0-0. Public participation? We don't have anything. So Director of Parks and Recreation report.
Thank you. First item I have, just an update on the Simons Park lighting project. At our last meeting, we had the contractor was putting up that last pole and had got the cross arm, one of the light fixtures actually, in the cross arm caught in the straps as they were raising it up and snapped the light. It came in that next week and was installed. All the poles are up. We tested the lights. I had sent out some pictures to you guys, I think, with the lights. Very little spill off outside the courts. I don't think we're going to need to make any adjustments at this time, but when we fire them back up in the spring, Musco will come out and, some night, and we'll just turn them on, let them take a look and make sure everything stayed the same over the winter. We did generate a small punch list of items, regrading around some of the poles, some paving work that got disturbed with their equipment when they were installing a pole that they're going to address, and some fencing. And I think that's it. They've been working on it, and they'll get back out there and complete anything, and they won't get paid until they do complete it. Overall, very happy with the project. I think they were responsive. They kept the area clean and secured. I only had to speak to them once on it halfway through, and the job supervisor realized there was, that they left it a little messy that day and got it cleaned up. So overall, very happy with it and ready for lights for next spring. So.
Excellent. Anyone have any comments, questions?
Pickleball is still going strong there, and we have a couple nice days this week, so we'll probably take the nets down either Wednesday or the beginning of next week. Looks like we're maybe getting to some cooler weather, we'll say, a pattern that stays cool. But my next one is Marvin Field, just an update there. We talked about the title at the last meeting, and Town Council had suggested that they could move forward and really, clean up some questions on who owns the larger area around Marvin Field. It's with the central registry, everything we can see, we do. So we needed town administrator's approval for town council to look into that. So Lisa Mead is going to look into that. That's our town council. She's going to have a conversation with the city of Boston to see where it goes. They're listed in some places as the owners, but with everything of the registry of deeds, they are not. So try to put an end to that altogether. But it does, possibly give us a little more land over there. Not sure we can expand anything because of ledge and the road. We can't move South Bedford, and we can't, it'd be too costly to move ledge in some spots. So we'll see when that comes back. We can look into that a little further, but it'll be nice to have that area cleaned up. Well, she is having conversations with the city of Boston. The 10-year agreement on the Mary PC, the upper field there on Blanchard Road, ends in 2 years. She's going to just look into extending that at this point. All indications from meetings that I've attended, and Kelly, you can back me up on this, make sure I'm remembering correctly. The trustees of the reservation who are managing the property for the city of Boston, they just want to continue with the agreement there. But ultimately, it comes down to the city of Boston as the owners or caretakers of that piece. So I don't anticipate us not being able to continue forward with that as a multi-purpose field, so. Next thing, Parks and Recreation, maintenance and DPW building update. I'm gonna save that for Dave, under, old business, but, very good, movement on that, and we're happy with the bids, but I'll leave that for Dave. Capital planning, I had met previously with the program staff, and now we are, I met with the maintenance division to review the 10-year plan. One person was out, so what we discussed, there's some good ideas in there. What we discussed, I'll go over with park superintendent. He was the one that happened to be out, and unexpectedly, so we'll review those. And I'd like to get a list, the first meeting in December, so you guys can look it over. We can go over questions, and at some point in January, we can have a vote on it. And if there's anything that you guys would like to see, if you guys could just let us know after we get you that list, so there's some back and forth as well. Recreation Commission meeting dates, I had handed those out, sent those out in an email. Those are, our standard second and fourth Mondays that we generally do. Take a look at them, and then we can make a decision. You guys can take a vote in December. We'll make sure we put it on the agenda as a voting item. But I wanted to give them to you guys just so you can look through your calendar and have a little time to see if there's any conflicts in there that you have picked up. Human Service Parking Lot, we attended the planning board meeting, a couple of us, on Thursday, November 7th, where they reviewed the parking plan for the front of 61 Center Street. There was a lot of discussion, some back and forth, and after that lengthy discussion, the proposed parking plan, which the town engineer had kind of pared down from the original plan, taking into everyone's considerations into effect. They voted to approve. It's 20 spots because they're taking some from out back, so we're going to gain about 20 spots out front in the area where the circular driveway is now. It will become, they'll close up the far entrance where you enter our parking lot now and have one main entrance that's two ways. They'll replant grass and plant some trees over in the area of the other entrance. They're going to make a circular pattern around the building, so you have to go around the building to get to that front parking lot. They're going to do all the storm scepters in the parking lot and repave the whole thing. And we're going to improve with curbing and stuff as well. And the spots in the front will be lit. But it'll be a phase project. They won't be able to tear everything up at once. They'll do it in some phases. And how those shake out, I don't know yet, but looking at probably summer, late summer, or fall for that construction to begin. We were contacted by the town clerk regarding a Boy Scout troop that's working on their communications merit badge, and they had inquired about attending some meetings, so I touched base with the troop leader, Kim Lynch, and gave her our meeting dates for December. We talked again the other day. They were meeting tomorrow night, and they'll have an idea of what meeting they'd attend, but they would just come and attend the meeting and not participate in it necessarily, but maybe we can recognize them. They can do, I think, Kevin, you and I had talked last week, maybe they could do the Pledge of Allegiance for us, lead us in that, but they will be coming to a meeting in December, just to observe the meeting. I think that is it for now.
Okay. Excellent. Questions for Brendan? Okay. Dave?
No, good.
Okay, excellent. We have a guest. We don't get guests that often.
Nice.
Are you here for a particular thing or just to sit in on the meeting? I'm Kevin Sullivan, the chairperson.
Yeah.
Pat O'Brien.
No, I'm here on behalf of my son, Shane O'Halloran, that's,
Okay, well, we can do citizens' time again. If you want to come up and speak, come up to the seat right here.
you want to do this now?
We usually do citizens' time in the beginning, if you'd like.
Okay,
Um,
all right, sure.
We don't get often have citizens come, so this is great. And we're being recorded on BCAT.
Sure.
So you have to make sure the green light's on the microphone there.
It is, yeah.
Okay, and just for the record, so for the minutes, if you could state your name, that would be appreciated.
Yes, my name is Pat O'Halloran. I live at 7 Eisenhower Drive in Burlington. And so tonight I'm here on behalf of my, well, all three of my boys, but more importantly, it's a benefit that my kids started 2 years ago. This is our third year doing it, and so this all started out 2 years ago where we were charged $300 for a permit fee from the rec department. The second year went up to $450, and this being our third year, went up to $1250. And I guess why I'm here is to try to find out why the double amount. Where this money's going to, what, what's it for? And, we don't have a problem paying for it, but what's this all about?
Okay, do you want to start, Brendan?
Sure. Hi, Pat. I'm Brendan Egan, Director of Parks and Recreation. I've talked with your son Shane a couple times from the beginning, a couple years ago. So they had approached us in 2017 with a permit request to use Marshall Simons in the back, so brush field and lower brush, the grass half, for a charity football game, 7-on-7 football tournament to raise money for breast cancer. And it was a 7-on-7 charity game to raise money for breast cancer, a fun day of football all for a great cause. They had 60 to 100 people. It was their first year. They were just starting out to raise money. I believe that was the first year they did it. So we looked at it. In first year, they were looking to raise some money. Didn't know how many they'd get. So they were charged, as Mr. O'Halloran stated, $372 altogether. That was for both fields for the full day, 9 to 4 p.m. They did have lights, and there was a $372 charge for both fields, lights, and 2 portable toilets. You don't have portable toilets out on the properties after usually the second week in November. When youth sports is over, they get pulled off of the athletic fields. The next year, we received an application again from Shane for the same event, 400-plus people with a DJ, both fields, 9 to 5 was the request with lights, which we accommodated, and the fee was $449. That was for both fields, lights, and 2 portable toilets. So this year, we received the application again from Shane. There were expecting 1,500 people, a DJ, food trucks, and same fields, 9 to 4 with lights, and the fee of $1,200 was for $800 for both fields, so $400 each, $300 for the portable toilets, and then $100 for lights for both fields. So it comes out to $50 per field for lights. The actual cost based on our permit, a tier 5, which is private clinic, camp, tournament, or other groups, on a weekend per field is $800 a day. Then the lights and a $50 administrative fee. So the porta potties, I think any group would have to pay for porta potties, especially if we don't have them on the fields. The total cost, if we had done this out without a break, and we did give a significant break, it would be just under $3,000. It would be $2,890. We're not requiring a maintenance personnel there to empty the trash. That alone is will come out to about $500, $494. The portable toilets, we're giving the portable toilets at the cost that we get them for as the town, which is $100 for an accessible unit per unit, which gets you to 300. For 3, I called and got a rate for a weekend for 3, this weekend specifically, it would be $796.03 if a private person went and got the portable toilets. And then, of course, the weekend rate, the full rate for both fields for the day would be $800 a field, so it would be $1,600. And then I don't have the per hour rate for the lights plus the administrative fee, but it averages 25 to 75 depending on the system. Some are LEDs, some of the newer ones are LED, and some of the other ones are the older halogen. But those lights haven't been on the back side, on the grass side, haven't been on in this month, so we get an upcharge. I can't give you that rate, but I believe it would be higher than the $50 for both that we did charge for both sides. So I know it was a jump. The event has grown quite a bit. We gave breaks each of the first 3 years. We even, each of the first 2 years, significant breaks. Gave another break this year. But then when we add in food trucks and we quadruple the number of people, I gave them a break by not requiring a staff person to be on to empty trash because you guys have kept it clean, the first couple of years. So I know there may be some questions on why are we a tier 5 and not a tier 6. Tier 6 would be, a nonprofit group like the American Cancer Society, Special Olympics, someone like that, that would be the ones applying for a permit. This is just a resident applying for the permit. The cause is great, and I know it sounds like that we don't care about the cause. I 100% agree in the cause, and I know, Shane, I know you're here on behalf of your son, so I'm going to say, Shane, I know he does a good job and he's been responsive and stuff throughout. We haven't had any problems. But in order to continue to, as the event grows, we're still giving a break, but we need to make sure that if something happened on that, if there was damage to the field, we'd have to pay. So this money goes back into our field permits in our revolving account, and that money gets used to keep up all of our playing fields across the community. And I know, you may have noticed this just in this last year that we've stepped up our game, I think, on a good portion of the athletic fields, and this commission has put money from our revolving account into doing that. So kind of getting off the subject there. But that is the basis for the fees. I have broken it down, and I did share that with Shane when I sent it out and gave my reasoning. I did share it in an email right around October 22nd. I have it here somewhere, but that's the history.
Okay, so just one thing up front. I went to an open meeting law last month, and this isn't on the agenda. Because it's not on the agenda, we cannot take a vote to change a number tonight. We can bring it up as a meeting, an agenda item next meeting in December if the commission decides they want to talk about it more and refund money. We can do that in December. But since it's not an agenda item, and people weren't aware of it, that they could discuss it, we can't vote on it, but we can talk about it, you can share your opinions, fine, but we'll have to make it an agenda item in December.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I mean, I wasn't expected to come up here and talk. To be honest, I just came here to listen to what, you guys had to say tonight, but, yeah, and you did say a lot. A lot of it, like, we didn't use the lights the first year, didn't use the lights the second year. I don't know if you're aware of that. The numbers, are construed. All right, yeah, my son threw out a number. Probably shouldn't have used that number. All right, yeah, so they are bringing in a food truck. We sell pizza, all to benefit cancer research. Okay, that's, you're leaving that part out. It's for cancer research at the Mass General Hospital. Okay, so you've gone up not only not once, twice, but 3 times. And all the past 2 times that we've used this field, never once have you had a problem with us. We videotape the field before, and we videotape the field afterwards, and it's spotless. So the question I have for you, you said that you want to know, like, what, we want to know where this money's being spent for. It's a turf field, for one. You're not bringing anyone in to fluff the field up like they normally would do. Out in the backfield, they use it maybe for a couple games. Okay, so we want to know where and why this money is going to.
So, do you want to go, Dave?
So, may I speak, Mr.
Yep,
Chairman?
go right ahead,
So,
Dave.
Pat, how you doing? So, I've had discussions with Pat, Brendan, other people in the community, so this was all brought up within the last week. Obviously, it's a fundraiser for the cancer, and I think where the sort of the I would say miscommunication is on the, so I would say for me personally, as a commissioner, I should have known about these rates. I didn't know what we charged and what were the sliding scale. I didn't know all this until just recently. So the tier 6, as it's presented, they feel that they should be under a tier 6 program.
American Cancer Society is what it's
So-
under.
Exactly, so.
This is what it's going towards.
So I think Shane, who's young, probably didn't know that he could have been under one of these charity events, and from my understanding, they do have a nonprofit, which, so on our end.
We do.
Maybe it wasn't presented to you and you didn't ask if it's a nonprofit, so they could be under this tier 6, which would be a permit fee, and then paying for the
The
porta
porta
potties.
potties, which
So-
we don't have a problem doing.
Right, so in fairness, on one end, on Brendan's end, and on the charity event, which, look, and I'm all for, and anybody who knows me, I'm 100%, anything that goes to anything to charity, we try to give as much money as possible to. So if we can get I think if we put it on the agenda item for the next meeting, and we come up with, this is I'm just suggesting this, I don't know where the other commissioners feel on this, is if we know it's a tier 6, and we can get away from the tier 5, which includes all these fees, and Brendan has given, if you went through the whole thing, $3,000, which, that's, we would never want to do that. And we could change, I know it's not under, but if we could change maybe how we word the tier 6, so people would know that I have a nonprofit, ID number, or it's under American Seal, so the writing would be so they would know that they could qualify for a tier 6, where someone like Shane, who was trying to do the right thing, would get that charity event fee instead of the tier 5. That's just how I would look at it, as far as someone who's coming to the community. It's, he files the permit, he's trying to do the right thing. We as
Exactly.
commissioners, and as you say, where's the money going? The money is going to the fields. We as a commission are committed to making the field in Burlington better. Brendan's committed, Rich Cody, you know,
Yeah, that's not my argument. I mean,
I know, but you asked where the money's going. So
well,
it's not
I
like
guess
the
when I
money.
say that, like, there is no personnel down there. We do all
I know,
the setup, all the cleanup, all of
absolutely,
that.
Pat. I've been at the event, and you guys do an outstanding
And we
job.
respect the field 100%.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think the
And it's been
miscommunication.
brought to our attention where Mr. Egan has mentioned to us in the past, he doesn't want to see any drinking down there. There's Burlington PD, there's state police down there. This is not something that we adhere to. We do not encourage it, we do not promote it, we do not allow it.
Right, right.
But he has brought it up to Shane, my son, not just recently. So the point being is like, we're not like that. We don't do that. This is a fundraiser for cancer research.
Absolutely. And-
Okay.
and-
I just, as far as the drinking, it's just to let everyone know, we tell all of our groups it's on the permits. So it's not, I didn't think, oh,
Yes,
this
they're-
person's
they're
gonna
there to play
drink down there.
football.
That wasn't it. Yeah, it was, we tell all of our permit requests that, you know, and it states it right on our policy, that there's no alcohol. Number 5 in bright red. So,
Yeah,
you know, it
we
wasn't.
weren't asking for a permit for alcohol.
Nope, we don't grant, it's illegal to have alcohol in town property. But what I'm saying is, it wasn't singling him out or saying, you know, don't have that.
Well,
I'm sorry he felt that way, and that's, we tell everybody that, even, you know,
I
corporate
doubt you'd
group.
say that to Cheryl Schaffman or someone like that.
I don't know who that is.
Now you're getting out of line. You can't do that. You can't do that.
I'm just saying.
So, it's the rules. There's no alcohol.
Without a
And if-
doubt, Kevin.
If, we're not here to discuss that, that's just the rules.
Yeah.
And if it was a young person's event at that age bracket, I think everyone would worry about alcohol being there. So Brendan saying it is not out of line, it's the rules, so, yeah.
So,
Okay, Brendan?
I was just gonna, and then, Dave, you had mentioned, you know, coming back, it's fine, this is the policy.
Right.
So you would have to change policy if you want to change the wording, which the commission can do, that's fine. I inherited this policy, so, you know, we apply it across the board. You know, if this is sponsored by the American Cancer Society, that's never been, you know, the application that we have is the information that we go by. If it is sponsored by the American Cancer Society, they have a nonprofit number, you know, present that to us. So there'll still be fees, but present it to us. Because as it is, the application, as I have it, is just from your son, an individual, stating that they're gonna raise money. People tell us all the time, oh, I'm raising money for this, or I'm raising money for that. And then we ask, do you have, you know, is this, they say, we're a nonprofit. Can you provide us with that? Nine
So
times out of 10, they can't.
Did you ever ask him for that?
No,
Okay.
no.
Because if
They
you
did-
did, he would have provided that information to you.
Okay.
Okay, is the event,
It's this
Is-
Saturday, Kevin.
okay, no, so we're all finding about it this week.
Yeah.
So is the checks,
Everything is written out to
It's-
Mass General Breast Cancer Research.
okay, so I looked
That's
it
where
up.
it all goes.
Yeah, okay,
I
so.
don't doubt it, not
Pat,
at all.
I looked it up, and on the sponsorship forms, it's made out to 7v7 football, care of Reading Savings Bank.
Well, that's where the
It's-
money,
It's
Okay,
not made
so-
out to the Cancer Society, so is that account a 501c?
exactly, it is. And you know what?
So you can
What
just bring us
we're
proof.
learning, and this is a learning process, you know, that it does need to get changed, and we will get Mass General involved next year. As far
Okay,
as,
but
yeah,
so I personally am worried about the numbers. Having a small event on brush field that's turf, that's indestructible
Mm-hmm.
on Thanksgiving, I don't worry about. when I see 1,500 people, which is what's on the application,
Yeah.
and using the outside fields, outside of brush, that are grass at Thanksgiving time, I worry about. You know, if the field gets damaged, it's gonna cost a lot more than, if we're saying 1,200, it's really only 900's going
Yeah.
towards the town. It's gonna cost a lot more than $900 to fix that field. And that field would not get fixed until after the youth sports season and the high school seasons, because they're gonna get on that field April, as soon as the snow and it dries out. And
Yeah.
there's no repairs that can be done. This isn't the same event you started with.
Well,
It's
It-
not.
It really is. And I would love for you guys to come down there because it's mothers, it's daughters, it's sisters. It's not just like what you're trying to apply with guys going out there with cleats. It's not like that.
It's, no, what I'm saying
It's
is,
all our community getting together to raise money for breast cancer research with the understanding of having a great time that day.
oh, no, I totally understand that, and I
there is-
love, no, so
there
let
is-
me finish.
Yeah,
And I
so-
love the idea, I think you raised $20,000
The
last year?
first year,
The first year,
yeah.
was 60 to 100 people?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah, it's
so
hard.
my point is that
Throughout the day, Kevin, yeah.
it's a much bigger event now than it
Well, I
was
wish
when
it
you
would be, I
started.
wish it was bigger than.
Well,
but it's
according to
starting
the
die-
permit,
It's starting
it
to
is.
die down, but,
So, we'll gladly discuss it more at the next meeting, whether
Sure.
we can amend your permit fee. We can't vote on it tonight, but we have 2 or 3 weeks before our next meeting to, everyone can mill it over and have some ideas, and then we can discuss it again. Anyone on this side, you have comments?
Oh, I'm in favor of putting it on the docket to discuss it and vote on it. David said.
Okay,
Just a
Tom?
question.
Absolutely, yeah.
You said everything's all paid, so we'd be essentially refunding money to you potentially? Is that-
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the tricky part, Tom, yeah.
but
Yeah.
we can,
Yeah, yeah, for now, everything's
not
paid
gonna
for.
stop you from
Yeah,
going forward,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
no, thank you, no, everything's paid for.
okay. I mean, if we're not supposed to talk about it and along those lines until the next couple of weeks, that's fine. In fairness to the department, you know, their job is to look after the safety of the fields, and groups come in, and you guys now got a track record, which is good, so that's obviously, but, you know, he doesn't know, you know, another group coming in, and
Sure,
and we
yeah.
got expenses we got to cover. If we ever let a large group on a field and didn't appropriately allow for it, and there was damage, and now we got to go to town meeting for 10 grand to fix something, they're all mad at you for not taking proper care of it, so it's a fine line.
No, completely understood.
So I don't want to, I'm not painting you guys with that brush, but I'm just trying to put it in the perspective of the guy who's in charge of the place. You know,
Yep.
He's got to make sure it's done properly. On the other hand, to me, it's clearly the charitable event, and we should treat it as such. And if the paperwork didn't properly reflect it, I've seen a lot of those things, the first year or two, people are just trying to get stuff together, they're not
Yep.
thinking about that, but then it falls into place. And I see no reason why you shouldn't be treated as a charitable event with whatever adjustments in the fee comes with that. And hopefully you do get 1,500, and hopefully you
Yeah,
triple.
exactly. And
hopefully you
believe it or
triple
not,
your-
like, we were looking towards, like, the future, like, what's gonna happen next year? Is it gonna go up? Is it gonna go up the final fifth year?
Yeah, and let's see, you can keep an eye on it. You know, and from our perspective, too, like Kevin says, it's a big jump going for a couple hundred up to 1,500 potentially. That might be exaggerated, but let's see, is there more trash, is there more damage, is there more, you know, it's harder for you guys to control 1,500 people than 200 friends as it expands.
Exactly,
There's
yeah.
gonna be people you don't know. And if you bring in food trucks, that's more trash, so we have to have the crew to come in afterwards potentially to pick up. Hopefully, that's not gonna be the case, hasn't been the
It won't
case for the
be.
last couple of years, but again, you just have to understand from
Sure, I-
administration.
I understand that.
They're gonna do that, so. But having said that, I agree, in my opinion, it's clearly a charitable event and a successful one. Hopefully, it'll continue to be successful, and we can discuss it and maybe be able to potentially refund a few bucks back into the pot for you. in a
Great,
couple of
thank you.
weeks.
I appreciate it.
Okay, anyone else? Yeah, we'll make it an agenda item.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay,
Have a good night.
all right.
Pat. Good luck.
Good luck.
Make some money.
We'll sing it for you.
Okay, we have programming report?
So I'm going to start by talking about some of our special events. This past weekend, we held our Thanksgiving events. It started off with a 5K turkey trot here, where we had just over 100 runners run in the race. We went back to the office, and our Spectacular Saturday group had their family Thanksgiving dinner, where I didn't get to see a whole lot of, but I did get to pop down and see families down there, which was great. There's probably 45 people in the room down there for their dinner. And then we had our turkey hunt, which, if you don't know what a turkey hunt is, it's sort of Amazing Race style, where people go around town to different parks and facilities. They have to complete a challenge in order to receive clues. They have to find clues, and if they find a turkey, they get a gift card to purchase a turkey. We probably had 20, 25 families partake in that. So that was interesting. So it was a great day, busy day for us, but it was good. Our next couple events are the tree lighting, which will be held on December 7th on the Common, starting at 4 p.m. And then the Breakfast with Santa event, which will be held on the 8th at the Hilton Garden Inn. Our staff has been busy working on a few things. The winter brochure came out since our last meeting, and registration started on the 21st. Our enrollments are actually up for a few programs, which we're excited about. Our ski program happens to be one of them, which is good because those numbers had been declining for the last couple of years. So to see them pop up this early was great. We've also met as a programming staff to start talking about summer and what changes we're going to make as far as programs and staffing and policies are concerned there. And finally, Jesse has been working with our consultant at REACH, which is the, what is that called?
The community like bulletin board thing.
That's it, the
Yeah.
community bulletin board. That'll go up in our building sooner rather than later, I hope. There's a couple different layouts that she's completed, and just working on finally connecting REACH with RecTrac so that they can talk to each other and we can have the building scheduled there.
Excellent. Questions for Kelly? Okay, how many people at the turkey trot?
Turkey trot,
Yeah, the race.
just over 100.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right, I had to work. I was hoping to participate, but,
Maybe next
you
year.
know, it would have been bad if I won the race, though. They're just, chairman wins race.
The man who won it ran it in 17 minutes.
Chairman who loses race.
Might have been in a different age division. Could have won your age division.
All right. Rich isn't here. He submitted his report. Does anyone have anything they want to comment on Rich's report on? The maintenance side of things?
We on schedule for the lights, all good?
We are. They've been in the last 2 weekends because of the weather during the week. They can't get out and hang lights in the rain and the wind. They've been in the last 2 Saturdays. Have made good progress. They expect to be testing them this week, making sure the timers are good and everything's plugged in accordingly. We have had a problem with our bucket truck with the brakes. It's out, same issue as last year, we believe, which means parts would all be covered. We will have to expend some money for labor. I'm waiting to hear back on that, so we do have a rental out there right now. But it's been working great, and guys have been doing a nice job getting them up.
Okay, anyone else? It's nice seeing all the Ventracs working with the blower attachments and all those pieces of equipment that we bought that are getting used for multi-purpose. That's
Yeah,
great.
They've been out there since the spring. This summer, we were running both Ventracs at different together at different locations. We can use them all through the fall and even into the winter. The one with the cab has a snow blower on it, so we'll be out there doing sidewalks and stuff, walking trails in our parks. So
Excellent.
they're very good investments.
Yep. Okay.
The new mower, the new cab.
New mower is in, like you mentioned, I'm waiting on plates. We just got our, title. They don't call it that, but the title for it, last week, and I brought it down to central maintenance, they're getting plates. Might be in before Thanksgiving. And if we get a nice day, we'll take it out just to give people time on it. So we don't put it out in the spring for the first time. We'll get it out on a field and people can take turns operating it and get used to it.
Just don't get it dirty.
That's right.
Okay, it's brand new. Keep on washing it. Okay, Chairman's report, the only thing I had was was going to the planning board meeting, and thanks for Brendan for stepping up and speaking on behalf of the rec department, and Dave speaking up. It's nice that they finally, after, I don't know how many years of discussing it, finally gave us some more parking, so, thank you for doing that, and for Paul Sagarino for helping with the project, and the planning board for voting on it. Does anyone have any of their reports, subcommittees, more like partnerships, but Tom, anything from school committee with the rec
Yeah, just
department?
kind of an update on the ongoing discussions with the field maintenance on the school properties with the Tom Irwin program. We discussed it a bit at the meeting last week. Kristen Russo has been kind of dealing with, is it Brian at Tom Irwin?
Yep.
Yeah. And has met with him a couple of times, and they're working their way through it, I guess is the best way to put it. There was some, she looked at some of the information that Brian had provided with some of the chemicals that are used, and she had some questions and concerns about some of them, and she and Brian, I think, met, at least had a discussion, and Brian has just given us some, is going to put together some background information on a couple of things, so we're getting there, but we're not there yet.
All right.
Hopefully before springtime, when it's time to start up for next year, we'll have something in place.
Yep, grass is much safer than
Grass is much safer than
weeds
weeds and
and
dirt.
clumps that you can twist your ankle and hurt yourself.
And just to, I was over the, now that I'm back up in the neighborhood, I was over Simon's, I've been over there a lot lately, and it's noticeable,
Yeah.
the improvement. I mean, it's just, it's like night and day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no question that it's a successful program, but we're still chipping away at it.
Well, you have 4 months to
I
decide.
do.
No pressure.
All right, Sculpture Park, anything, Kevin?
Calls have been all through the New England Sculpture Association, and they're all due back in to all these sculptures by January 17th. Then we'll discuss the winners, go in front of the selectmen. We've been approved to put some sculptures in the park next to the police station in Grandview Farms, that little field there, so won't know much more until after the 17th now, January, but
Excellent.
we'll vote on the winners.
That'd be nice to have something.
Yeah.
I was up in Meredith, and they have a whole sculpture association, and it's pretty impressive. Pamphlets and, yeah. Dave, do you want to talk
Sure,
about,
yes.
you got some good news.
We got some good news, so.
All right.
The Parks and Recreation Maintenance DPW project went up a bid. We got the 3 bids back. The committee met, Brendan and everyone else on the committee, the town people, and the 3 bids went out. The low bid was CTA Construction, which was a project total of $31,565,030. And we voted as the committee, and we voted for them to move forward with the project, which is great. CTA worked on the Memorial School, so they've done work in town before, big projects. So we're very excited. It's huge. It's been a long process. I know you've been on the board a long time. You've been wanting, we've all been wanting, from where we are to where we're gonna be in a couple of years is awesome. So they're looking at a starting date of January 1st, if everything goes, that's what they recommended, CTA for a fresh start date right after the first of the year. And they'll be having a groundbreaking ceremony on December 9th. I think we came up at 1:30.
1:30.
Up at the site, so everyone get up there if you guys can make it. It'd be awesome to see you guys up there, especially the people on the board to get behind the project. It'd be awesome. So it's been long in the waiting. I know Brendan's put a lot of work into it as far as how they would want it designed, talking with the guys and stuff like that. It's gonna be a beautiful building. Hopefully we don't run into any snags once they tear the building down and they do a little bit of digging. So fingers crossed, and hopefully everything goes well.
Tom?
Just to follow up, they did a great job in Memorial School. They were a great business, company to work with, very responsive. So that's good luck for you guys that they
Yeah,
were the
so-
little bit, because they do a nice job.
Good.
The design
know.
company, the people that we've been working with have been awesome. So they've done a really good job. They were very good at how they went in front of all the boards. We met the new project manager that's gonna be on site on the meeting on last Tuesday. So it's go time. So
Good.
hopefully it comes in, so we're in the building before, what are we looking at, a year and a half?
Yeah, 16 months they have as a timeline for both phases of the project. But I think they feel they can get it done sooner than that, but there is 16 months built in. So I think they're hoping, this time next year, either before the winter or right after the winter. They don't want to have to be moving
Yeah.
during the winter, obviously. So hoping that they can get in there.
All right, no, I was on the Memorial School project too, and
Yeah.
they were great, and there were no
Yeah.
major overrides. They came in under budget.
They came in under budget, on time, ahead of schedule, actually, and, we'd have meetings every couple of weeks or whatever, and they had a project manager, I forget what his name was, but good guy and very receptive. Good.
Yeah. We were a little concerned with, everyone was concerned with the tariffs and everything, but the news has looked good lately on the project, on the numbers coming in for the steel and construction. Obviously, we haven't got there yet as far as the final design, but as far as what the steel's gonna cost. But if, hopefully, we're able to come
Yeah,
in
good.
under budget, and especially on the second phase of it, so it's great news. Just hope we can get the guys in there as soon as possible. Be great.
Excellent. So groundbreaking is December,
December 9th, up at Clark and Reed.
right?
And,
So if-
so if you guys, 1:30?
1:30, yep.
So if you could all try to make it, and Dave, you've worked on this so hard, if they ask for any of the commissioners to speak, could you do that?
Sure.
On behalf of
Yeah,
all of us?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's
But you're
one
the
of
chairman, I mean.
No,
you-
this
I
is
mean,
one of the biggest things we've actually got through.
But,
So, way to go.
like I said,
And, everyone on the town for getting it done.
yeah, it's good, it's gonna be,
Yeah.
it'll be a great building.
Excellent. All right, and do we have any other subcommittee? No? Okay, new business, you want to give Brendan the revolving report?
Sure. So the revolving account, as of September 30th, 2019, had a balance of $231,212.18, of which $201,553.65 is reserved for programs, leaving $29,658.53 unreserved. And again, that was the end of that quarter, and we do have some items that we would like to request funding for out of the revolving account.
Okay, so on the report, does anyone have any questions? I have one, just, we get the report, and it tells all the topics, like archery, ceramics, and everything. Is that money that's extra, or is that money that's paid but not used because we haven't paid the
Correct. That's
Staff.
reserved to pay out expenses for those programs.
Okay, that makes more sense.
That's the 201,553.
Correct.
Okay. So no one has any questions on the report? Nope. Okay, so Brendan has a few expenditures he'd like to ask for.
Yes, the first one is the gym floor. We haven't done it over in a couple years. It's ready to be done. So I'm requesting the commission vote to approve $4,000 from the revolving account to have the gym floor refinished over the Christmas holiday.
Okay, so I'd entertain a motion that we approve $4,000 from the revolving account to refinish the gym floor at the rec center.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on that? No, all in favor? Aye. Oppose? Abstain? Okay, 400. Next one?
Thank you. It was brought to our attention at some point in October, I believe it was, that the Community Theater Group, formerly the Burlington Players of Burlington, that squirrels had made their way into their building and had either chewed their way in or chewed their way back out. It's unclear, but they did enjoy the building for a while. They could have watched some plays, not to make light of this, but they did, the players, or the Community Theater Group of Burlington, did hire a pest removal company, removed the squirrels. They did put one-way doors, so if any were hiding in there and they didn't get them, they could get back out, but they can't get back in. And in order to really seal up that building, the roof is good, but some of the fascia and soffit underneath the overhang need to be replaced where they chewed in, and some others that starting to warp from maybe past water damage, which would grant them access at a future point. That needs to be replaced. So we received an estimate from Pelletier Remodeling of Billerica to repair roughly 100 linear feet. And I'm requesting the commission approve $5,600 from the revolving account to repair the damaged soffit and fascia on the players' building. I know it says we received an estimate of $5,000. I'd made a correction, it was $5,600, but I am requesting $5,600
Okay.
to repair.
Anyone want to make that motion?
So moved.
By Tom, second by Kevin?
Yes.
That's good. It's good to get your name in the minutes. Discussion. Anyone?
No.
Did you get 3 bids?
That's what I'm really asking.
No, we're under the threshold. This is the company that the town uses on all their roofing needs, so I reached out to them first.
Okay. Do you feel it's a fair price?
I feel it's a fair price, yes.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'll move the question then. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oppose? Abstain? So 400.
Okay. And then my last item, this goes to a couple different categories, some safety and making sure that our staff has the most up-to-date information when making decisions. But over the last few summers, we have found it difficult to keep our directors of our programs updated with current rosters, waivers, and medical information for the participants in their program. We have been researching different software programs that will work along with Vermont Systems to get the information we need and get it out to our staff in the field. In order to be able to get this information out, we need to provide our staff with the technology. Can't rely on them using a mobile phone, mobile device. The information doesn't always come correctly onto the mobile devices, but we are looking at some kind of tablet with data that we can use, that can be used by our staff. I am requesting the commission approve $5,000 from the revolving account to purchase tablets for our program directors to access the current rosters and waivers and medical information from the participants in their programs. We will have to activate data during the summer months and it may come in handy, like ski program and different programs that travel are out and about, and Spectacular Saturdays program could possibly take advantage of a tablet with data. When they're out, they will need it as well. But our largest group is going to be in the summer, when we have anywhere from 16 to 18 different programs out there. This is our Park Place programs, our Wilderness Adventure program when that comes back up, but our middle school park program, all of our TR programs, sports programs. So when they're scattered around town, being able to have access to that up-to-date current information.
Okay, someone want to make that motion for, to expend up to $5,000 from the revolving account to purchase tablets for our program directors for use in programming? Does that sound correct? From the revolving account, has to say that.
So move.
By Dave, second.
Second.
By Tom. Discussion? Anyone?
How many tablets we gonna get?
We'd like to get 20.
Think, what are they going for? Are we gonna be able to get, I mean,
So
is
we
it
did-
something that we're gonna be able to ask for more money, or is that a good?
We may. So we've looked into working with the schools on the tablets or the iPads that they get. They don't come with data, but they, Bob may be able to, work with Apple and, if that's what we find is the best, to get a quote with data for iPads. We also are going to look with our contract with Verizon with the town. We did purchase a iPad 4 or 5 years ago, I think, and it was very reasonable. They were looking to, they had an overstock, they were looking to move some out. We were under 300 for the iPad, so,
Yeah, so,
we'll get quotes, obviously, before we move forward.
does the town have like an unlimited
That would be
data
tough.
plan? Do they have an unlimited data plan as far as iPads and stuff like that?
I don't know what they have. I mean, there's limitations on it in the sense of what you can access, because it's the
Right.
kids and stuff like that. So I think they have I don't know what kind of plan they have, but it's not a wide open plan.
Because we're gonna be in the, like at Simon's and.
Right.
Out in the open.
So the iPad we have that has data is $29.99 a month. We'd be looking, at the summer months, June, July, August, so, for each iPad.
I mean, we obviously buy them in bulk each year, so I'm
Right.
sure,
So I'm sure you get a good, yeah.
if you talk to Bob.
Yep. We had a brief conversation. He was at the turkey trot. I didn't want to bother him with work stuff. I had sent him an email last week, but we did have a quick conversation on it, and we're going to circle back.
Okay, so the data won't be included in this price, that'll be
No,
just an expense that, part of the programming?
we would probably work it into the programming, yes.
Okay, and you'll safeguard all the material that everyone that gets one, that it only can be used for recreation stuff, and it
Yes.
just, there's a, what do they call that, the policy in town, regards to?
Yeah, the
Electronic use policy.
the what?
Say it again? Yes.
Electronic use, yeah, thank you,
If,
Kelly.
if all they're all young people, if they could be made aware of the policy,
Well, to be truthful, Kevin, our policy on that is much stricter than the town's.
excellent.
That we have in the department.
department's policy is much more strict.
Okay, just so they're all young people, that they're aware that, what the policy is, and
They're not all young. Not all young. A lot of young people.
they're all younger than me.
Fair.
But safety-wise, it's a great idea. And that's the main purpose of having it, and I totally agree with it. Okay, no other comments? We'll move the question. All in favor of spending up to $5,000 for tablets for the programming directors to be expended from the revolving account? Also in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, abstain, so 400. That's it for new business. Is there any old business?
I don't have any at this time.
Okay, anyone else? Any reason for an executive session?
Not at this time.
Okay, so the next meeting is December 9th of next. And on the agenda, Brendan, if we could put the 7v7 football to be discussed. Okay, is that?
Excuse me, thank you.
It might, yeah, from an agenda standpoint, it might not just be that specific, but maybe discuss the policy itself, if we want to make adjustments to the policy.
Yeah.
The policy is a much bigger discussion. So that goes back to Christine Brown, and she put a lot of work into,
I'm not so much suggesting we change the policy, but maybe just clarify it a bit. I mean, when it says charity,
Right, what constitutes a charity, and if they're a nonprofit, providing proof, adding a statement, I think, where, in here that clarifies what a charity is. Like I had mentioned before, we have people come all the time, say, oh, we're raising money for this.
Well, this-
You ask, are they a nonprofit?
Well,
They usually don't have that proof. They just want to do it, which is fine. But that's what we use as a qualifier as a nonprofit.
I think, Matt.
yeah, go right ahead.
I think the biggest thing with Shane, he just didn't know that he could have brought that up, and it could have been a tier 6. And the biggest protection we got to give ourselves, and we can talk about this, but just a quick thing, is say if a softball, I know you have softball people come, they want to use our fields, and they want it for a thing, and they say, oh, it's for charity. But then you got this guy who's doing it on the side, and he's going to put $10,000 in his pocket, but he might give $500 to the American Cancer Society. Well, that's really not a charity. That's a guy saying he's going to give $500, but it's a nonprofit. So I think how we write it, I know that they have a nonprofit, so the language here, and I'm sure Chris did a great job, is the language is we want to make sure that the money, when someone comes to us and they want to use a nonprofit or a charity event, that, and even when they apply for it, that they know that under a tier 6, that would, you know what I mean? Because Shane, I just think Shane didn't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So the policy, you kind of understand, you kind of described why the policy became that way, because there was a softball tournament that was being used in town that, in the end, we didn't all agree with and eliminated
So there's a
it.
perfect example. So they're doing the right thing, but they didn't have the nonprofit.
Right,
like the-
so,
I think if we,
you have 2 agenda items then. One would be our policy, and the other is whether we want to give a reimbursement
Okay.
to this particular event. Is that,
yeah, I guess the way I look at it, if we have a policy and this event doesn't fit within that policy, are we able to make an exception? That's why I'm saying we should look at the policy a bit, because we might have to, if we tweak the policy by defining what we mean by nonprofit, and this group falls within that understood definition, then I think we can then put them into that category and refund some money to them.
oh, absolutely, but
If they don't fit into our current policy, and we're being asked to make an exception to the policy, then the line's gonna be out the door for people looking for us to make exceptions to our policy.
I think the policy is good. I think where we don't want this to happen again is when someone, like they are, they have everything that we think, we haven't discussed it yet, so we don't have to go through this again.
But for instance, if
Am I-
it's
am I
gotta be a
wrong?
501(c) organization, not everybody is.
So we don't have that written down here.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
If we tweak our policy, if they're 501(c) and they've got a tax ID number that's a nonprofit, or they're incorporated in the state of Massachusetts as a nonprofit corporation, then they would fit before that. But all our policy says is a charity event.
Right.
Now, this is clearly a charity event.
Right.
So is the guy with his big softball tournament. He's giving $500 to a charity and putting 10 grand in his pocket. That's still a charity event.
Well, that's why I have an issue.
Or if it isn't, we gotta define what we mean by
That,
charity. It just says
that's why I have
charity.
an issue. So we have one thing doing the right thing, and then we have someone else, that I wasn't here. Do you know where, we can talk about it, we don't have to talk about it now, but that's where I have a personal issue.
I just think, and I haven't read the whole policy, I just read what the little cheat sheet that we had here, and it just says charity, and charity could mean anything, frankly. I mean, but
Right.
if you define it by saying, at least if it's a 501(c),
Yeah.
it's an organized, registered
Right.
charity under the common.
And I've always taken it to be,
Right.
have a federal tax ID number,
But for
501c3.
instance, the first year of something like this, everybody gets together, they want to do something good for a family who's having a problem or whatever, and it's a charitable event, but it's really just some good-hearted volunteer who's doing it and is going to give the money to somebody, which is great. But the next guy in isn't that good-hearted or charitable, and he's doing it, and he's putting the money in his pocket. If it's a 501(c), at least it's a regulated charitable organization that has to account for what it
Right.
makes.
And I think that's the important thing that we gotta have.
I believe Pat said tonight that they are that. They do have a tax ID number, the 501(c). So if we define in our policy by charity, we mean somebody who's a 501(c) organization, at least that will put us in a position where we can make a distinction between a legitimate charitable event and some person who's just using a charity as a way to make them, it's
Exactly.
one of those, make money, 90% of it
Yeah.
goes to administrative fees, and then the 10% goes to charity. That's not what we're
Exactly.
looking for.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll definitely, the agenda is the policy. I'll discuss with Brendan if we need, if the policy changes in the events after and we feel it fits in with it, then we should have an agenda item to give a refund. We'll discuss whether,
Yeah.
because it would be after the policy's been enacted.
Right, but that could all happen the same night.
The event's already happened.
No, but I mean, we could have the discussion on tweaking the policy, and if they're also on the agenda to see if, in retrospect, they fit into that new policy.
2 items,
Yeah.
probably. Okay? Just so we don't forget.
I'll share it with you before that. We can clarify how you want it
Yeah.
on the agenda.
Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Okay.